Welcome back to the Five Random Football Guys show. It is an honor back to be here with all the guys except Royal again. Is he completely ditched us? Is that what's going on?
I don't know what
He's
happened.
caught in heat stuff right now, I think.
Yo,
Yeah,
don't be
yeah.
listen, Manny. Don't be you squeaked. Don't even start, dog.
Listen, Manny, we're gonna get into the Champions League. We're gonna we'll save that for later on. We got Manny, Martin, Kai, and Paul here. All of their ats are on the bottom. Make sure to check it out. And make sure to check out the 5 Reasons Football Twitter because we're always tweeting on there updates. We're doing live tweets about big games across the world and all that fun stuff. And I mean, I would follow everybody except for Martin. Martin, he just rants about VAR on Twitter in South America. So if that doesn't interest you, then don't worry about it.
Hey, the Copa Libertadores is the second most important competition in the world, behind the Champions League. If you don't watch it, you're missing out on the most beautiful soccer you will ever see. And by beautiful, I mean imperfect and very, very violent, but it's compelling. It's very compelling because, like, that's the thing. In Europe, the soccer is perfect. It's like a ballet, right? But in South America, it's very violent, very much an imperfect kind of thing that you just, if you're from there, you just love. If you're not, then you just don't get it sometimes. But I'm telling you, the Copa Libertadores is as close as ever. I'm telling you, one home team won 1-0 today, and then another Boca Juniors lost yesterday but qualified in a miracle, and then the other two tied 1-1. If that's not parity, I don't know what is.
Speaking of imperfect and violent football, CONCACAF. That is another way to describe how they play, and the U.S. and how they have had to compete in what am I supposed to say that? This
Hemisphere?
not hemisphere because that would
But,
require
yeah.
like everything.
In this
Anyway,
North American
it's okay.
continent.
The North American continent of soccer and everything that the U.S. has to deal with and the teams that they play, even though they have gone down to their level recently. They took on El Salvador yesterday at Miami CF Stadium.
El Salvador. Ooh.
Here we
Martin's
go.
already starting.
Here we go.
Martin's already starting. I had a chance to be at the game. I know everybody else got to tune in and watch it. 6-0. They scored 5 goals in 11 minutes in the first half. Other than that, it was a completely boring game. I'm not going to lie to you. It was just completely dominant on the U.S. side. But what's noteworthy is that what?
No, I thought I was muted and I was mouthing. I was trying to be funny and then he unmuted me, so that just blew the whole thing.
No,
Go on.
Because your screen is echoing what Austin says, so that's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
you're muted.
I
mute myself then.
I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on what you guys saw from this MLS-based camp. There's not the talent that's playing on this team, or that played on this team yesterday. A lot of them are not going to break the starting 11 going forward in years come because we know the talent that this team has. But people like Chris Mueller, Sebastian Leggett, a lot of these guys, Mark McKenzie, a lot of these guys have chances to at least be a depth player and make the 23 going into big tournaments. What did you see from some of these guys? What did you see from the team as a whole? Whoever wants to go first, you go for it. Anybody who wants to speak on it, go ahead. No?
Kai's
Okay, I'll speak on. I watched
Okay,
it.
Paul. Thank you so much.
So, I mean, you brought up Mueller. I love.
Look,
Mueller.
I followed
Oh, go ahead.
your content, Austin, on Twitter. That's about it. Sorry to cut you off, Paul, but I wasn't watching the game, but I followed your tweets.
Listen, Mr. Germany. Okay, fair enough. All right, Paul. Paul,
You're
since
good.
you were a loyal fan like me, what did you see?
It's funny because I tuned in I think right at the 17th minute when all the scoring kind of started. Mueller was you brought up Mueller. Mueller was creating a lot of chances for them. I mean, I know he set up 1 goal. He scored once too. He scored 1 or 2. Twice exactly. So I mean, there's a lot of guys to mention. Like Ariola was great. Baguette was great. I think I was just kind of impressed because I know we kind of do look down upon MLS quality players. I mean, because obviously, like you mentioned, that a lot of these players that played in this game are probably not going to make the real international roster. However, it was kind of not reassuring. There's a lack of a better word. I guess I was impressed that I mean, at least like you mentioned, like the rest of the game was relatively boring, but they were able to piece together a lot of goals, and I was thrown off that there actually is decent quality. I mean, given it's El Salvador, but still, I mean, I don't know. There's still a lot of positives to pull from that game.
Martin, before you let me stop being excited about this, because I will let you have your take on this too, because all week, or not all week, the last 2 days, Martin has been coming at me, telling me that it's adorable how happy I am about the U.S. men's national team playing well against Panama and El Salvador. And, you know, listen, we aren't treated too messy in international breaks. We've never been treated to something like that. And the last 2 breaks that we've had, the talent that we've gotten to see and the performances that we've gotten to see is something that we wish we could have seen in World Cup qualifying against Trinidad and Tobago to go on to the World Cup. So recently it's been tough for us, but we've gotten to see, you know, the names: Mark McKenzie, Brendan Aronson, Chris Mueller, Paul Arriola coming back off his ACL injury, Ayo Akinola from Toronto getting his first start in a U.S. men's national team shirt. All of these kinds of players that are coming from MLS, and some who will be going to Europe soon, including Brendan Aronson, who's off to Red Bull Salzburg, and Mark McKenzie, who's being, I don't know if he'll leave this season, but he is only a 21-year-old center back. He's played in MLS for 3 years, and he's being looked at by Celtic and teams in Germany and England, which is massive. That's a massive thing. So there's these guys on this roster that we got to see yesterday that, no, maybe they aren't a starter going forward, but it doesn't really matter. I get to be excited about this because we won 6-0. And yes, it was a friendly. And the talent it's just that the talent that we showed was assuring. Exactly what Paul said. It was completely assuring. If Greg Berhalter needs to name 23, I want to be able to know all the 23 names and be confident that if Chris Mueller gets subbed on in the 65th minute for Christian Pulisic, I have a guy who can run up and down the wing. And not somebody who I have, you know, no knowledge of, or someone who I can't trust. Now, I'm not saying that I can fully trust Chris Mueller because he is an Orlando City player and I have my own thoughts about them. But no, Chris Mueller was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. Paul Arriola was good, and I don't know why he played. I know he was coming off the ACL. It's kind of like a special testament to him. But it's good to see that a lot of the people that we had in prior camps, before the European-based ones, like all the, and I'm not going to say dead weight, but like the Guzans and the Michael Bradleys, they're going to be flooded. They're getting flushed out. Like it's over. It's a new generation. It's a new generation of talent. It's a new generation of players. Greg Berhalter, he knows what he wants to do with this team. He wants to instill it in all these other guys. So it's exciting. It's exciting, and I think that going forward, this team does have a future. And I don't know, when it comes to like the Olympics and yeah, they were depressing times. Trust me, I know. But when it comes to like the Olympics and World Cup qualifying, and then even the World Cup in 2022, and especially past that in 2026, when all of these guys that we're seeing are going to be in the absolute primes of their careers between 26, 28, 30 years old, I'm allowed to be excited. Okay, Martin? I'm allowed to be excited. Now go ahead and tell me why I shouldn't be.
He's still muted, Manny.
Muted.
There, I am muting myself.
Oh,
There we go. So I'm not gonna be mean on purpose, at least. I'm just gonna
Purpose.
I'm just gonna tell you some facts that it's not about that. It's not the fact that I wanna diminish your excitement. It's the fact that I wanna put the bar just at least a little bit higher than the sad state of affairs that the U.S. men's national team is putting you through right now, because they're lies. It's smoke and mirrors, okay? Check this out. Panama, okay? The team that you were so happy to have beaten, what was it, 6-2 a couple of months ago? They're ranked number 78 in the FIFA rankings. They are 2 spots below Syria and Curacao, and just 1 spot above the mighty Uganda, okay? And then you have El Salvador, the team that you were like, oh my God, what is happening? We're winning 5-0. We're a juggernaut. Bring Pat Mahomes to Miami because
I didn't
he's
say
turning it open.
juggernaut. I never said juggernaut. Never said juggernaut.
You implied Juggernation. You implied that, okay?
Okay.
And then El Salvador is ranked a mighty number 70, a spot below Iraq. The team that has, I mean, can you name a single Iraqi player? Do you know the last time Iraq went to a World Cup? I mean, the only the saddest thing is that Canada it's number 72. Okay, and here are some of the opponents, the mighty opponents that El Salvador is going to face in World Cup qualifying next year: Grenada, Montserrat, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Antigua and Barbuda. Those are their first. Those are their first four matches. So I'm sorry if I'm not impressed about you having beaten the equivalent of Western High School in Davie. In fact, Western High School, I'm sure, or Cypress Bay, or or maybe I'm sure St. Thomas would be a tougher test for the U.S. men's national team than El Salvador and Panama. And keep in mind, you also tied 0-0 against Wales. Okay? And Wales, I'm going to tell you what their ranking is in the FIFA ranking right now because I'm on a roll here. And I want to let's see, Wales FIFA ranking. I'm Googling it right now, okay? Let's
I'm gonna
see.
take a guess.
Wales,
I'm gonna say 52.
52. Anybody over under 52? Okay, this is
I'll
genuinely
go under.
under what? Over like under 50,
Under
so in
Higher or
the
lower?
60s?
Under 52.
Actually, this is mildly surprising. Wales is number 18. What the hell? They're number 18, above Poland and just below Chile.
What?
Okay,
What?
Wow,
I know.
that's a lot of
Uh,
praise.
Yeah,
I
for
know.
real.
I think
They're
your
not-
rank. I think where are you getting your rankings from?
What?
From the official FIFA website. So
Oh,
I don't
That
know. I
we
mean,
know that website's corrupted too.
yeah. I was gonna say.
It's the FIFA Coca-Cola rankings.
how much
Oh,
how
God.
much did
No,
Gareth Bale
it's the
pay
FIFA
FIFA
freaking
to?
video game rankings, bro. That's what that is.
Do you wanna know the top 10 of the FIFA rankings? Just
Yeah, let's go.
Lead
Mention
off.
Argentina. Go ahead.
No, you
well,
want to mention
that just
Peru? That's dropped 10
that just because don't be jealous, okay? The U.S. will be in the top 10 at some point in the 2050s.
Oh my
Okay,
God, this guy.
okay, you have. I'm gonna go from number 10 downwards, okay? So downwards or upwards, I don't know. Italy number 10. I don't know if that's deserved, but I can see it. I mean, they've been playing better. Number 10, number 9, Mexico. That's definitely not deserved. I don't know where that
No.
comes from.
No.
Now, Mexico is not a top 10 team. Not when Croatia is number 11, okay? And Germany is number 13. Then you have Uruguay at number 8, another undeserved spot. I don't know. Like they haven't been playing well in World Cup qualifying. I don't know where Uruguay comes from there. Then you have Argentina at number 7. Eh,
Oh,
I can see
Argentina
that.
should be
I
top
mean, 10,
20,
10
bro.
out of 12 points in World Cup qualifying, been playing better. Then you have Spain at number 6, definitely deserve. I think they're top 5 after what they showed against Germany. Then you have Portugal at 5. I can see it. Okay, yeah, with Cristiano and Joao Felix and the rest. England at number
Bruno
4.
Fernandez. Don't forget Bruno Fernandez.
Bruno Fernandes, the mighty penalty kicker.
Oh,
Number 4. Number 4 is England. Number 4 is England. I think they're top 10, but I don't think they're top 5. What do you guys think? I don't think they're top 10.
four is high. They haven't proven anything, but I do think that they do
Number
have a
one
lot of
shocks me. I looked it up on my own. Number one shocks me.
Number 3, Brazil. I think they should be. I think they. I think okay. They should be number 3. They're okay. They won the Copa America last year. They are first in World Cup qualifying in South America. I think that's fair. France number 2. I think they should be number 1.
Is number
Because
one Spain?
No,
Spain
wait
is number
for it.
6. Spain is
Wait
number
for
6.
it, Austin. You're gonna be kind of shocked.
Yeah. And number 1, Belgium, the team that has never won a World Cup and reached and they reached the semifinals in the 2018 World Cup. They haven't they really haven't shown me anything besides eternal promise to be number 1. They're like the tennis player that has never won a Grand Slam but played so much that they just reached the number 1 spot by default. So and keep in mind these rankings. We're only about what? We're 2 years away. We're almost exactly 2 years away from the World Cup, and these rankings, the top 8, are gonna be the ones that head their groups. That's really important. That way you can avoid the Croatias, the Germanys, the Netherlands, the Colombias, in the group stage. When they, because they will eventually become top 10 kind of teams. So right now the top 8 seeds in the World Cup would be Belgium, France, Brazil, England, Portugal, Spain, Argentina, and Uruguay. So
Yeah,
imagine those groups with Germany, with the Netherlands, with
Yeah.
Colombia, with the US is number 22. So the US is ranked below Senegal, below Sweden, just above Austria, and let's remember that Wales is number 18.
Senegal.
Okay. Well, the Wales game with the U.S. The roster for Wales was not. I don't think their full roster. I think they played a lot of young people. So I don't know what to take away from that. It was a 0-0 draw, and it was the first time a lot of the U.S. men's players played together. So 18 and 22, I guess, but I would say going forward, USA has a brighter future than Wales.
You also tied with Wales without Gareth Bale. Let's remember that.
Right. No,
okay?
I'm saying they didn't play their full. They didn't go to their full strength. Right.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with that camp that we saw in Austria when they played in Austria, and I think they might have played in Wales, that wasn't a team that had ever played together before. We had never seen Yunus Musa. We never seen a Musa, Adams, McKinney midfield ever in the history of the United States. That has never happened. Yes, we heard about them all playing over in Germany and Spain, but they never played together before. We'd never seen Gio Reyna step on a pitch with Weston, maybe once actually. I'm not sure, but like the Sebastian Soto, the Giacchini, like we hadn't seen that before. It was totally new, and Berhalter was just now implementing his system. I say give him a little leeway against the number 18 FIFA ranked team. I don't know. That's just me.
Who should be number one? Kai, Paul, Manny. Who do you think should be number one in the
France.
FIFA rankings?
I think that the World Cup winners should always be number one until they get knocked out. And when I mean knocked out, I'm not talking about the Euros. I am talking about the World Cup. But as we know, these rankings come out so that we can have conversations like this. I mean, in all honesty, I can see where Belgium can be number one, but they haven't won anything, right? Like
I don't see it at all.
No,
well,
but
okay,
hear me out though. If you watch Belgium play, I think they've done enough, but the problem is they're not scoring anything. That's their issue. They played in so many tight games and where they haven't been able to score. It's like Inter for freaking Italy. They just don't know when to capitalize. So I think at some point, listen, FIFA does these type of things, like I said, to have conversation. But to me, France should be number one regardless of what happens. And then after that, to me, it's a crapshoot. I mean, France should be in there. Obviously, Spain maybe should be 2 or 3. Germany and me, man, I'm just surprised at how far back they've fallen since they won.
Can I take this opportunity to rant since you just mentioned that?
Of course.
Please. Okay, I mentioned this to Austin. So
by the way, I saw reports that Lowe ain't going anywhere. So
this is exactly what I was about to bring up. So
wait, Kai, one thing. Manny, Peru is number 25.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh wait, so the U.S. is above Peru. So I have this
Yeah.
over Manny. All right, cool.
So the DFB decided
I don't believe none of that though. Like, come on, really?
It's not.
Martin, you just said it. Uruguay is what, 8 or 9? How?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Like, come on, that doesn't make any sense to me. All right, Kai.
All right.
Go ahead,
So listen. The DFB decided that they were going to have a meeting with Joachim Low after he got just destroyed, absolutely manhandled by Spain. I think it was 6-0 final. I can't remember. I erased it from my memory. I was disappointed as hell. After, mind you, he had led them on a great run. He had a lot of veteran players. There was a lot of good things. That 2014 World Cup was great for them. The run after that, they were undefeated for a whole calendar year. They were on a really good train. Going into 2018, I think everyone still thought that they were the favorites, and they died. Like, that's it. They did exactly what the winners before them did in Spain, where next year you didn't get out of the groups. From that point forward, with the way that Germany, and especially within the clubs, the mentality there, and Joachim Low knows, he knows, the DFB knows, the way that they do it is always that respecting. At that point, when that happened, it's just he should have resigned. He should have taken the point to say, you know what, I couldn't field my team to put out there. My team failed. Yes, there's a lot of things with the players and the manager, but it's like, that's it. Instead of doing that, He took 3 of his best players, 2 of them down at the time. I still don't think that Mats Hummels should have been taken out. But Boateng and Mueller at that time deserved. Like, take them out of the thing, that's fine. Took all 3 of them out and started fielding a roster of people who either A, weren't supposed to be on the national team, or B, were just too young, didn't have the experience, and went with the pathway that we are going to develop talent in these major tournaments. I am of the belief, and I think all of you guys would agree with me, that the national team, yes, you develop talent, but in major tournaments, you put out your best team. You have the best squad. For whatever it is, that's your best squad, no matter what. Refusing to bring back Boateng, who's in better form. Mats Hummels is in great form right now. Thomas Muller is in great form right now. Won't bring any of them because he wants to develop youth. Yet the back line is terrible. When he decides to start Zula, it's like he barely starts Niklas Zula. He's been injured in a while, but barely does that. Like, he was still one of the people that was trying to force Joshua Kimmich to be a right back, which made absolutely no sense. Like, he just does things that have just been so outlandish. And then to lose 6-0, and for the governing body for soccer for Germany to say that they still had faith in him. In the Euros, they're gonna lose. They're just gonna get dominated. He can't put his ego behind him. He can't do anything. He has this idea that the national team is meant to develop youth talent 24/7 when you know that you have players that are capable of winning a World Cup, that are capable of winning Euros, and you can't do anything. I mean, it's annoying.
Okay, Kai, let me ask you 2 things. Number one, before Joachim Löw won that World Cup in 2014 in overtime against Argentina, how long has it been since Germany had won it all?
A long time. I'm pretty sure.
24 years, okay?
Yeah.
24 years since 1990.
90.
Second, if you don't have Joachim Löw on the bench anymore, and you only have 6 months before the 2021 Euro and barely 2 years before the World Cup, who will be your replacement? Because
you're not going to fire him.
Not just anybody can sit on that bench.
Right. No, you're not going to fire him now, but it's just I don't know. It's the way that they went about it and the way that they presented it to say that they have, I don't know, the complete faith in him. It's like, dude, how can you sit there?
So what I think that Germany should have done is, as soon as they won the World Cup, that's when you go out there and you start searching for your new talent. The two teams, I guess when you look at the Germany team on how they, or the federation, how they think, is the same way that I think Real Madrid has been ever since winning all those titles. All of a sudden, they want to stay put. They want to add 1 or 2 pieces, but they want to stay with the same team year in and year out. And it's quite clear. They're old. They're not getting any younger, and the quicker teams are getting to them. Spain has transitioned. Italy has transitioned. Belgium is coming up. France is in the middle of that, but when you have youngsters like Mbappe.
France's talent is insane.
And exactly, so they're in transition. Germany, to me, is just stuck in that old school mentality. You know what? It's about having 34 to 35-year-olds that have been there and won it.
But they took them out. That's the thing. After that loss, they took all of them out.
Yeah, but
except they kept like Toni Kroos, who was like, for whatever reason, I don't know. It's just.
But that's the problem. What do you do when you come up on a major tournament? When yes, all these players are getting older, and it's maybe time to move on from them. But you're going to go play these 19, 20-year-old kids like in a major tournament?
Though you can't do it anymore right now. You can't. And
but that's what he is. That's what he's doing.
You can't fire the coach because the same mentality with all these guys that you've been doing for such a long time, even more than a decade. You can't just say, "All right, let's ask somebody else." You can't do that. If that was the case, you shouldn't have done it after the World Cup, after you got totally embarrassed and trying to defend your title. That's when you should have done it. You just don't do it 2 years now into it.
Obviously now you can't. It's just that the way that they went above it, I think it pissed me off just because I feel like and it's been reported, of course, Bild has been doing a lot of the reporting. Goal has done some as well, but we all know, like, Bild, if you know anything about that, it's very wishy-washy. Sometimes they're right, most of the time they're wrong. And like they're saying that the whole dream is to get Klopp, but it's like, okay, let's say you go through this, you do bad in the Euros and you do bad in the World Cup, and then Klopp's like, no, I'm good. Like, I don't want to be there. What are you gonna do?
Klopp's not gonna leave Liverpool, man.
You're gonna be searching for what, like. Klopp's just frustrating.
I don't know
guys like Klopp don't want to manage national teams.
That's their pipe dream. Allegedly.
It's too boring for them. They want the week-to-week adrenaline. They want the grind. In the national team, you can be twiddling your thumbs for about 3-4 months until you play again, and then you get the players for 2 days. You barely have a practice in, Romania, Iceland, North Macedonia, Armenia, and Liechtenstein.
That
What's
is
that?
the group. That is the group that Germany is in.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, come
Jesus.
on, Kai. I mean,
No, look, I
mean,
at the time, of course, like being a Bayern fan and my getting soccer into it from Thomas Muller, I was upset. But like, I don't think that I could have and anyone else could look at that thing and say, okay, Boateng and Thomas Muller deserve to be starting over some players who had promising young futures. Like literally, like you have guys like Kai Havertz at that time when they were getting out, and Jonathan Tah who had some promise, like that were up and comers. It's like, yeah, I understand that. Not maybe in the way that they did it, but I understand it completely. But at this point now, and I still don't agree with the Mats Hummels one. I'll never agree with that one at all. But at this time now, to say that you're going to still keep out Mats Hummels, Jerome Boateng, and Thomas Muller from the national team is ridiculous.
they're not going to get any younger in 2 years.
But for the Euros, at the very least, like they're right now, a Jerome Boateng and Mats Hummels pairing would be better than anything that they put out right now. Maybe despite Niklas Sula, if he can continue to be healthy, but like the defense has nothing else in the center. There's literally nothing else in the center. Matthias Ginter hasn't been doing anything. Jonathan Tah hasn't been doing anything. Like it's done.
Well, enjoy your World Cup victory in 14, then, my friend. Because
I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
it's not going to look
By
pretty.
the way, guys, breaking news. North Macedonia is number 65 in the FIFA World Ranking. Still better than El Salvador and Panama. The teams that Austin was so excited about beating.
Martin is still like scrolling all those rankings and all those teams I just posted. Still.
I'm just genuinely curious about how many teams are better than the ones that Austin was doing cartwheels about having blown out.
I wasn't doing okay.
You were doing Twitter cartwheels all over the place.
I was because I haven't had this from the.
You can let
national
him
team
be
before.
happy.
I
The
just
national
haven't
team
never.
has failed on like every single level. Like,
And you know when he's gonna be the saddest when he's the number 1 seed on the fantasy football league right now.
my
I'm the number
God.
2 seed. I'm the number 2 seed. You know what's gonna happen? It's gonna be a championship showdown for the ages, and he's gonna be really sad about that. He's gonna be.
If Josh Jacobs could stay healthy, I'll say yes, but I don't know so far. I'm a little worried.
By the way, real quick on the men's national team. Listen, do I take anything positive from this game? Maybe. You know, it's like Austin said, you're doing this to have the reserves on the bench, right? Like you put out there, but is it something that you take? I don't know with with like a positivity, like a big one. No, listen, it's a friendly match against a team that, let's be honest, they should be able to beat 20-0 with the regular starters, regardless.
Right.
So,
the thing is too about the US.
Now, to me, this just seems like another meaningless friendly per se, because there's so many friendlies throughout the year. But then, of course, when you see your group and the qualifying begins next year, and like Martin said, all those first 5 games, I mean, listen, those are the games that you really want to see. And I understand they're not top opponents, but they're still the team, the squads that you got to play, and you got to see how they perform. And then from then on, you go forward, and you make the World Cup, and then that's where you play the big boys on the big stage. But to me, I'm not going to take much out of friendlies either, because, listen, the U.S. deserves to be ranked 100 after not making the World Cup. Let's be clear. So you need to start somewhere. You need to build it up little by little. So, and I think by what we've seen so far, okay, it looks a little bit like they have a much better idea, and they're much more organized.
Yeah.
The previous regime felt like they wanted to have 5 pegs, and they were trying to fit it into 4 square holes, and it wasn't going to fit. It's too many things at once. You have one direction, one message, one voice, and I feel like it starts at the top, and the performances will come, but we also want to see how the youngsters do. It's going to take time.
And
I will say this positively about the US. Keep adding. What happened there? Keep adding
positivity.
Keep adding top team. Keep adding players to top teams in Europe. You're doing a great job with that. Serginho Dest, Pulisic, Reina. You're doing a much better job than Mexico at that. Okay, that's really important. And 2022 shouldn't be the goal. The goal, obviously, you need to qualify for 2022.
Right, that's the goal for 2022.
But the goal shouldn't be to go far in 2022. If you can, great. But the goal has to be in top form in 2026 and to at least make the semifinals in the World Cup that's going to be played right here in the US and in Mexico, because that's when all eyes are going to be in the US, and Pulisic, Reina, Dest, and others are going to be in their true primes. That should be your goal.
Totally agree. And
Great-
like you
great
said, it's going to be
analysis.
here.
Yeah.
It's going to be here. I'm pretty sure Hard Rock is getting a quarterfinal the last time they released news about, what stadiums and stuff. So that's big too. Because that's right where I live. Not where Martin lives, but right where we live.
Yep.
Listen, that's a lot of national team talk. You guys want to talk about Champions League? Because I don't, but I know Manny
Why
does.
don't you want to talk about the Champions League? What happened?
Oh, okay.
So it did happen, actually.
Champions. I don't know. My team's in Europa League. I can't really. I have nothing to say on Champions League. So on Tuesday there were a bunch of big games. I think Atletico Salzburg was on Tuesday. The Manchester United game was on Tuesday. The PSG Istanbul game was on Tuesday, which had the incident with the fourth referee. And I believe the Lazio Club Bruges game was the other big game that included two teams trying to make the knockout stages. The biggest, and the Barca Juve game was Tuesday as well. Ronaldo versus Messi for top of the group, which was massive. I didn't expect them both to play, but they did. And Weston McKennie stole the show. My guy. Manchester United go down. There we go. I think I nailed them all on the first day. So Manchester United. Where do I start? I don't know where to start here. You go down super early. And you have Ole Gunnar Solskjaer thinks he's some tactical mastermind and changes into a 5 at the back formation that I don't think we've seen in this new season yet. Luke Shaw is playing center back for Manchester United for some odd reason. Center back, that's right, center back, not left back. We buy Alex Telles to get Luke Shaw out, and then you play him at center back. Wan-Bissaka, his defensive woes continue. There's the Paul Pogba stuff going on. After scoring an absolute worldie against West Ham, his agent comes out right after that, right before the big game. Oh, he doesn't want to be in Manchester. He shouldn't be in Manchester, blah, 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 blah. I'm done with Mino Raiola and his antics. It's really annoying. And Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford were not themselves. Maybe Bruno, he never really has a bad game, but he wasn't able to create and put people in. Right he wasn't able to. Well, he put them in perfect spots, and that's what we're usually used to seeing. Marcus Rashford was not himself at all. He had it blowed a couple of chances. It was an overall bad performance in the first however many 70 minutes until Pogba came on and kind of turned the game around, made it 3-2, or he made it 3-1. Then it was 3-2, and they couldn't find the winner. It was sad. And Manny and I were talking before the show. Manchester United put themselves in this position by losing to Istanbul, by not being able to secure at least another goal when they played Paris at Old Trafford. They were at the top of the group every single week until the last week, and they get knocked out. That's sad. That's really sad. Look, and it all, honestly, everything comes down to the game. Not obviously everything came down to this game, but if you don't lose to Istanbul, what was it, 2-1? I believe they try to make a comeback, or 3-2. I'm not sure, but like in the second week of the second or third week, you're not in this position. But
2-1.
2-1. It's those bad performances against the weakened sides. But Real Madrid was able to escape it. Manchester United weren't.
But when you say that, the difference is that I think you faced an Real faced an Inter team that no matter what stage is, Inter always crumbles and fails, right? So, in that group for United, all they really had to think about was PSG. But like you said, so it's all the results with teams below them that, listen, you can't come up with ties and you can't lose. You just can't lose because then
you need a draw, right? They just needed a draw.
We just needed a draw. You just needed because we were above.
You just needed a draw, but then you can't be putting stuff. You put yourself in a position that once again you were playing at home against PSG, and once again, it's like you're saying, it's the same thing over and over again. Where Ole got it wrong. He thought this formation would work, but then he puts 4 or 5 in the back, and then there's no flow to the game, and then you're down 2-0, and the next thing you know, you score a goal to make it 2-1, and you lose again. It's the same thing, and again.
Let me ask you this. Before we started these shows quite a while ago, Real Madrid were looking to be the biggest disappointment of the Champions League. Manchester United were top of the group. If I told you then that Real Madrid would be qualifying and Manchester United would be going down to the Europa League, would you have believed me?
Yes, because Zidane is still there.
Not a chance.
But there's no way. We were
I've seen it.
criticizing the hell out of
I've seen
Zidane.
it though. I've seen it. I'm a Real fan. I watch every game.
Right.
There wasn't any doubt in my mind that we were not gonna make it past it. Now ask me if we're gonna make it past this next round, depending on our opponent. Probably not, because we don't play like we deserve it. Okay, we are resting our goal magic on a 30-plus-year-old player that if he's not playing forward, and if Ramos is almost 40 years old, is not at the back, the team doesn't know how to win games anymore.
Yeah.
So you look at our group. Real was supposed to move forward. They did. Will they now play better against these other top teams once the draw comes out tomorrow?
Ooh.
Isn't the draw
a tough draw?
Right?
Monday.
So,
on Monday.
but
That's a tough.
Yeah.
Atalanta, Lazio,
Because
Porto,
here's the thing, though.
and RB
United
Leipzig.
hasn't shown me anything in years past that made me feel confident that they were going to move on. Not to hate on you or not to hate on United. Listen, United and Inter have had the same results for the last 5-10 years, right? They start like this and slowly start coming down to earth once again. And that's exactly what happens.
No, Ole should not be at the wheel. I'm tired. I'm tired of Ole. I think that. I mean, there's been so many times. Okay, yes, yeah. I mean, you're right, Andres. You're completely right. Somehow, it's just Real Madrid. That's what it is. It comes with the name. It comes with the brand.
You know what you're gonna get eventually. There's no way that Real Madrid was gonna get into the Europa unless there was some player controversy or something.
I genuinely thought Real Madrid were going down. I did.
Yeah, I did as well. I can't lie to you. I
didn't think Zidane had. I think today would have been a show about Zidane being sacked. Honestly,
I didn't think that, but
no.
I didn't think it was going to come from.
Hazard got hurt again. What the hell do you mean Zidane's going to get sacked? Hazard should get sacked.
You did.
Yes.
This guy gets hurt every
show.
game.
You were like, imagine, Paul, would it be like if Real Madrid were to play in the Europa League next year? And I was like, oh my god, I can't even fathom the idea of that. I mean, it kind of just seemed like Borussia kind of parked the bus too, even though they were kind of. But Inter really blew it.
Gladbach, I was shocked.
Austin, but
Inter blew it, but
Austin, quick, aren't you happy that we transitioned from United to Madrid?
Yeah, yes, very. Thank you for that.
I was just to quickly touch on.
That was good. That was a good transition. Smooth. It was.
By the way, Marin. So a quick thing, because I know you love your boy Messi. What did you take out of the Juventus-Barcelona game? Because we know that both teams have already qualified for the next round, right? But in your eyes, if you watched it, what did you take out of it?
They both qualified for the next round, but Barcelona screwed up big time by losing by the only score that wouldn't have allowed them to finish in first place. Because that match reminded us that Barcelona is just a mediocre squad under the veil of past greatness. Messi was right. He wanted to leave and he should have left because Barcelona is poised to be embarrassed once again, and this time not in the quarterfinals, but in the round of 16. They don't have the capability of beating any of the first place teams. First of all, they can't play. They can't play Real Madrid in the round of 16 because you can't play against teams from your same country. So can they beat Bayern Munich? No. Can they beat Manchester City?
No.
Oh no. Liverpool? No, thank
Hell
you.
No.
Hell no.
Borussia,
Hell
oh my god. Then Klopp will have a field day with the damn defense, bro.
Can they beat PSG? No.
No.
Can they beat? Can they get past Borussia Dortmund? I don't think so. You're running out of options here. And then maybe, just maybe, you can beat Chelsea. Maybe. So it's really dire for Barcelona. If they play Bayern Munich, God help them. It's gonna be like they're gonna be in the fetal position. I don't know how Koeman will go about the tactical planning for that match because sort of like that. Yeah, but
he I feel so bad for Messi because obviously there's that clause in the contract and they didn't want to honor it going back towards that. Well, just because
how can you feel bad for the greatest player in this generation, bro?
dude,
Get
it's just
out of here with
a player
dude.
like that. You could
He
say
put
with like,
himself in that position, bro. What do you
but
mean
how?
you feel bad, bro? What do you mean how?
I
You
don't,
know
I
what
don't
In
got
this
feel
me
bad for him.
situation,
I
it
don't feel
comes
bad for
to
him at all. He tried to pull a
I don't
sleight
feel
of hand. He tried to
man,
pull a
you
sleight
feel
of
bad
hand.
for Messi,
He
bro.
tried to leverage a situation, and he didn't have the guts to go up against the team that raised him basically in court.
yeah.
So he could have taken it to the extremes of,
Yeah,
let's say, of what Harden is doing with the Rockets, saying like, I'm not
yeah,
gonna play for you guys. I
yeah.
don't care.
He should have,
Messi wasn't gonna do that.
Messi has given everything to this club, absolutely everything since the moment he came on there as a young guy, as a young boy, and for this club not to give him what he wanted, or at least listen to his options, being able to just form. Listen, what do you want? We know that we're not, saying, like per se. You are the team. You are the person that people fly to watch us and see us on TV and talk about radio. But man, like if I was Messi, dude, I would have been strict from the get-go. Absolutely,
There,
like Ronaldo. Are you kidding?
he did manage to disgrace the Barcelona president who eventually resigned. But let's remember this: Messi is not only a soccer superstar, but he's half of the economy of the city of Barcelona. The
Yeah.
tourism that he drives is
Mhm.
insane. So if you only think this is about soccer and about what happens on the pitch, you're sadly
It's not.
mistaken. There is a lot of different interests and politicians and power brokers that are behind everything that Messi represents. And but they're behind the scenes. We don't see them every Sunday. We see Messi every Sunday and every Wednesday. So, but coming back to Barcelona, they are not, unless Messi goes ultra instinct and just demolishes everything, which I don't think he can anymore. Then La Liga didn't allow it. LOL, they will lose everything in marketing there,
True.
and
He
they
still
already lost
he could have
Cristiano.
taken it.
They already
Yeah,
lost Cristiano.
exactly.
So
Because if Messi leaves, who's their number one star that they're gonna, all of a sudden try to market around?
David Silva, top of the table.
Ansu Fati,
Ansu
Ansu Fati.
Ansu
But
Fati.
I actually I love the fact that La Liga is more even now. But
Yeah,
coming back to the Champions League, I gotta say that it's on Soldier should be fired by tomorrow because, like Austin said, you only needed a draw and you fell asleep at the wheel and you started out losing 2-0 in the first 15 minutes. That's inexcusable. Okay,
Yeah.
that shouldn't happen. And then the saddest thing that I saw all week was Shakhtar celebrating the fact that they go on to a Europa League when they didn't have the guts to go score that single goal that would have allowed them to qualify over Borussia Mönchengladbach
Yeah.
and make it to round 16. Because Borussia Mönchengladbach was celebrating after losing to Real Madrid, but because they advanced. Okay,
Yeah.
they were all huddled in front of a laptop actually, watching the end of Shakhtar Inter. But for Shakhtar to celebrate being eliminated just because you're going to the Europa League and you left Inter out, that's just sad, you know. And I was also really happy to see Sergio Aguero to score the other day. He's had a long road from recovery from his knee injury, and for him to score barely a couple of weeks after Maradona, his father-in-law died. It was really nice. He didn't do like a whole dedication thing like Messi and Tevez did, but I'm sure that he dedicated in some way to Maradona. It must have been a relief for him to be able to play and to go away from all that sadness that must have plagued him and his family for the past couple of weeks.
yeah, man, for sure.
On that
I
note,
wasn't.
go ahead, Kai.
I was gonna say, this obviously might be too early. Maybe we say this for next week when we have the actual knockout draws, like in the final 16. But I was gonna ask if maybe we wanted to do kind of like a, as of right now, how does it stand? Who do each of us think will go on to just win the entire thing?
I'm good
Unless
with
we
that.
want to wait for the round of 16.
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
propose this. I'm gonna propose this. How about we say, because I think it's too early to say who's gonna win because Bayern Munich is clearly a level above everybody else.
Yes.
And
agree.
then you have a
Agree.
second tier, Manchester City, Liverpool. If you wanna
Not City.
if you wanna be if you wanna
Not
stay at
City, not
if you wanna
City.
stay Atalanta is still dangerous because of the way they played in the last Champions League. But it's Bayern Munich and everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, tell me which round of 16 matchup you will most like to see.
In the final?
Barcelona Bayern.
In the final?
No,
in the
round of 16.
round-
Barcelona Bayern. That's what I want.
Bayern. Barcelona Liverpool.
Liverpool.
That'd be good.
Rematch, baby.
I'll take PSG Barca too.
You take PSG Barca too?
That'd be nice.
I would take probably Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund, man. We've had some history with them boys.
Can't
man.
happen.
Rounds, bro.
Can't
like,
happen.
In my mind, like I still see Robert scoring like another goal.
Wait, Real Madrid and Dortmund.
It's Madrid can face Atalanta, Lazio, Porto, or Leipzig, but not Dortmund.
Oh, we're facing Leipzig and we're gonna lose.
Dortmund's
Dortmund's
options are Atalanta, Atletico, Barca, Porto, and Sevilla. Dortmund Atletico could be interesting, to be perfectly honest.
That would be interesting round of 16, I think, too.
There's not. I don't know. None of these. I guess we have to wait to get the thing because none of these really like interest me that much. Like, I feel like anyone that Atletico goes against would be interesting. Who could they? Dortmund, Chelsea, Juventus, Liverpool, Man City, PSG.
In my eyes, I think Martin's right. Like to me, right now, this tournament's Bayern's to lose, man.
Well, I just want to ask. Like, I don't know. Have some fun.
Okay, let's ask this for the viewers that are on my level. The round of 32 for the Europa League will include Ajax, Arsenal.
I'll be back. I have absolutely no idea what that is.
We'll come back next show.
No, but listen. Let me. I'm not saying anything good about the Europa League. Okay.
He says Salvador.
I'm gonna say this. Let me name you the teams that are in Europa League and why you should pay attention. Okay.
North Macedonia, El Salvador, Panama.
No, listen. Ajax, Arsenal, Benfica, Hoffenheim, Leicester City, Leverkusen, Lille, United, Milan, Napoli, PSV, Sociedad, Roma, Tottenham, and Villarreal. Those are.
I will say Hoffenheim has been playing really well recently with Sebastian Hoeneß. They're the only team this season to beat Bayern.
They've in Europa League
4-1, by the way.
They were so dominant all in the entire group stages. They were super dominant. But those are a lot of big name teams in Europa League. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, but Manchester United.
Benfica didn't top their group.
Manchester United shouldn't even be said in any one of those clubs, bro.
No, I agree.
And this is why Martin's right, man. Only should be fired today, tomorrow, right now, at 10:18 a.m. Eastern time. That man shouldn't be able to walk into Old Trafford's building and be like, "Hello, guys. I'm here to play. I am here to coach a game of football, even though we lost. We got the curve."
Okay, Borat. Let me before we go. Let me ask the truly.
We have a derby on Saturday. No.
Let me ask you the really important question of the day before we leave. We know that James Harden is making overtures towards the Miami Heat, right? So I want to know, who do you think has the best beard in soccer?
Christian Pulisic.
Pulisic, really?
Did you see his beard?
Really?
Dude, when he got subbed on, it's like Captain America beard. Like, it's pretty good. Look it up. It's pretty good.
Paul, Kai, Manny, who do you guys say?
I'm gonna say
He
Isco.
also has a beard, right?
Damn, his beard actually is really nice right now.
The Pulisic.
Yeah.
Let me see.
You got it taped up and everything. All right.
I'm very upset that I had that answer really quickly off the top of my head. It's a little embarrassing, but
you had some time to think about it.
I noticed it when I was watching the game when he got subbed on. And
Dude, he does not look like himself with that.
He doesn't. I was like, who's coming off? I was like, is that Jorginho? Like, I was very confused. But yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good. It's pretty clean. Isco's another one. That's another good one. I'll give it Manny Chang. Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna say Cristiano Ronaldo has the best beard. Have you seen that? Have you seen that beard?
Is he?
He doesn't have a hair in his body. No, Sergio. No,
I don't know.
Like, are you guys kidding? Are you guys kidding? Sergio Ramos has the best beard. I don't think.
This is nice too.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And then the best beard of all time, Alexi Lalas. There's no.
Oh God! I don't want to talk about Alexi Lalas,
dude.
please.
I hate Alexi Lalas. Dude.
I don't want to talk about Alexi Lalas.
Bro,
I don't care if his beard is stellar.
Him and Taylor Twellman, I'm about to start putting on mute, man.
Oh, Stu Holden too.
Oh, Holden too,
dude.
Oh, I can't.
Alexi
Actually, Taylor Twellman has not been terrible. When I watched the MLS Back tournament and Taylor Twellman did a lot of the games, I was like, you know what, this isn't that bad because he was actually like having a go at MLS and like saying these things that are like, what are we doing almost? And this made for TV tournament, it's just a bunch of advertisements. Taylor Twellman has not been bad, and he's been doing better. I used to not like him, but he's kind of gained my respect a little bit. But Stu Holden and Alexi Lalas, please, never again. I just don't want to listen to them, especially Alexi Lalas, above all else.
When he has that like show. I know you don't want to talk about it. He has one of those shows, and I remember like he right before Zlatan left, he had said something about Zlatan. It's like, "Yo, out of your prime, blah blah blah. You're in the MLS," and then he goes to Milan, and he's just been having a good season. Every time like I see Alexi Lalas, I think about that clip, and I'm like, "Damn, you're so stupid." Like
At 39 too. He's 39. He's balling out. A lot of credit to Zlatan.
It's just every time he talks, it feels like I know that like Lewis likes to shout. Lewis Song likes to say that he's the Skip Bayless of 5 Reasons. I feel like if you had to give a Skip Bayless to soccer, it'd be Alexi Lalas.
Who am I? Who would I be?
I don't know, actually.
I'll put you in your own category.
I'll
put you in your own category.
I don't know if that's a compliment.
I don't think that like. The thing is, because even though like you have like the personality of that you could compare it to somebody if you had to, like it's just that there's so many personalities that are on TV right now that just don't know anything. So like it's not really like easy to just pinpoint something. And I don't want to freaking
like some of the guys
be
from
disrespectful.
ESPN FC. That's another. If you want to watch, if you want to,
some are all.
some.
Guys,
I like them Marcotti and
remember.
Burnley's, but like the Alejandro Moreno's and the Sebastian.
Do not disrespect my boy Tommy Smith. All right.
There's one.
Hercules Gomez.
I remember what his name is.
Oh God.
There's
Guys,
someone
I
that
just
is
wanted to
doing.
remember something. You guys are gonna be famous someday, all 4 of you, and you're gonna and some up and comer is gonna be like, oh, Austin or oh, Paul. Like I can't stand his ass anymore. It's and you're gonna be like, hey, I made it. I remember when I used to. I remember when I used to dump on Taylor Twellman like that. So just remember, like remember your humble beginnings at 5 Reasons Football, and when you're a panelist for the USA 2026 World Cup, like right there in the press box before the World Cup final, you'll be like, remember when Martin told me not to hate on Taylor Twellman that much? Well, and besides, you just know that if you send a highlight reel to ESPN next year and you end up getting hired for ESPN FC, the first thing you're gonna say is like, "Oh, I watch you guys all the time. I love your work.
Yeah.
I have truly respected you." It's your point. Like your point of views have really shaped the way I did my TV work. So
I
By
can't
the way,
stand
guys,
watching it. I'm sorry.
before we leave, the MLS Cup final is on Saturday. Columbus versus Seattle.
who cares?
You guys got in that
Me, I care. It's gonna be a good game.
Me too.
It's gonna be a good game. Also,
Oh, but-
wait, I want to say this: Inter Miami sporting director and COO Paul McDonough resigned from his position. He's the one that built the roster, helped build the stadium here, was a huge part of the building of the club. Like he literally built the club from the ground up with David Beckham and Jorge Mas. He steps down in 2 or 3, maybe 4 days. We have to announce what players we're gonna protect for the expansion draft coming up. Then we also have this free agency window coming up. There's like a 48-hour trade window that they have coming up, and we have no sporting director at the helm.
By the way, topic for next
Miami, baby.
topic for next week also, fusion between Liga MX and MLS. That's a topic that we should discuss next week. What you guys think about a potential unity between the 2 leagues and what that would entail. But
I would have
Maybe
said that a
bring
couple years.
relegation too.
Well, the Pro Rel, we could bring that up too. But a couple years ago, I would say let's fuse Liga MX and MLS. But I think the MLS has actually taken a step above Liga MX, in my opinion.
no.
Okay, fair. We'll talk about it next week then. We'll talk
Next
about it
show.
next week.
And the top
All
25
right, by
list.
the way, guys, on Saturday we got some huge games, man. We got Real Madrid Atletico, Marcel Monaco, the Columbus Seattle game, Manchester United against Man City, Everton Chelsea. So all those games are pretty huge right there.
I
And
do want to add.
don't forget Boca Arsenal.
Nobody cares.
I do want to add, although it's not, and of course I'm going to say because it's Bayern, although maybe it's on the bottom of those. Union Berlin, who were brought into the Bundesliga last year after coming up, have been having a great season, and they're playing against Bayern on Saturday.
They're sixth in position right now. Sixth.
Yeah, and I wouldn't expect that to be a blowout at all. It should be pretty entertaining. If those other games are way more interesting, but that game should be a good game.
Kai, so quick question. If Schalke end up getting relegated, that's huge, right? In
Horrible.
Germany?
Yeah.
That's absolutely putrid.
And they were like 2017, 2018, one of those years, they were challenging for the title.
Mm-hmm.
Like Leipzig was still challenging, but like they kind of flipped in terms of expectations. Obviously, Leipzig, Red Bull money, everything like that, and they funnel players from Salzburg, obviously, and all the other clubs. But like just Schalke last year got lucky, and then they've just been a disappointment. I was hoping that maybe they'd have like that Werder Bremen thing where Bremen pretty much had their decision day and didn't end up, they went into the playoffs, didn't end up getting relegated. I was hoping that Schalke would be better this season. They're just, they started the season losing 8-2 to Bayern.
Yeah.
Like,
two things about one thing about Schalke get
thank
relegated.
God Weston McKennie's not there anymore.
I was going to say it's a good thing for Weston McKennie because they will take the 40 or 50 million euros in a heartbeat if they're in the second division, and he will stay at Juventus, and that'll be perfect. Another thing about Werder Bremen, Joshua Sargent. I know I keep on bringing up U.S. men's national stuff. He's been playing interest
good for them.
He's been playing very good this season, and he's been getting interest from Taylor Twellman, of course, of all people. Confirmed reports that came out from other outlets out in Germany and England that he has been being looked at by Championship and Premier League teams, which is pretty big. Big. And as a striker, as a number 9, that's how you solidify yourself as the starting number 9 in a national team. You go play in England, and you leave no questions. You leave no questions to be asked. That's your number 9. And I hate that people are having questions about who's the number 9 because it's Joshua Sargent. He was just injured. If you would have seen him play, you would have been sold.
If you watched him play, Werder Bremen played Bayern a couple weeks ago, and he was instrumental in that draw. He assisted in the goal tying, game tying assist, and he was just playing great. He's been one of those since he started to come on. He's been one of those really exciting things, and the Bundesliga really, really likes to, especially before the ESPN Plus when they were on Fox Sports, they really love diving into American players and just players outside of Germany with their YouTube content. Like they love targeting it at American, and obviously they do a lot of Alphonso Davies right now, but they just love that American talent. They love targeting towards it. So they've been marketing him and Weston McKennie, Christian Pulisic, like all the time. Josh Adams, everybody. They've just been putting them out there. Or Tyler Adams, sorry. I don't know why I said Josh Adams. Tyler Adams. They've been pushing it to the forefront of their content on YouTube.
Are you gonna make me talk about this, Manny?
Listen. I know it's your club, man, but this game is still huge here in the Americas. You got Manchester United against Manchester City, the Manchester Derby. United in 6th place with 19 points. City with 18 points in 7th. Austin, what are your thoughts? How does Manchester United come out of this game with a win and actually put a pretty big, deficit for Man City, because then you got West Ham and Everton and Wolves all at 17. So if any one of those teams win, if 2 of those teams win, they'll definitely make the leap over Man City. Man City might be in 10th place by the end of the weekend if they lose.
The thing is, with a game in hand, both teams have a game in hand. With a win, they move up into 3rd. So, the 6th and 7th is kind of, it's a little misleading, I would say, because they're still in decent form. Both teams are in decent form. They're definitely underperforming. Martin hates it. Martin absolutely hates it. But listen, 2026, Martin, you're gonna love it.
I don't hate it. I'm just I'm letting you guys talk. Like you guys know your stuff. So I don't need to be the chatterbox of this place. Just go on. Manchester Derby. Go ahead.
Oh, this
like
I don't even
about Boca River.
I don't even want to talk about the Manchester Derby. I don't think that there's anything positive in store for Manchester other than maybe a 3-0 loss and Ole's sacking. That's all. Like, I would be fine if that was the result.
Would you want that over, like, if they win, would you be disappointed? Because I know obviously your team wins, but like, would you be like, damn, this is just going to hit the restart again? Well, how you've been saying the past couple of weeks, Ole win, Ole lose, and then Ole wins another great one and then lose.
These are 2 games back to back that are tough. Like you go against Leipzig in the Champions League, and like that's like a do or die game, and then now you're playing the derby on the weekend, and before that you had the West Ham game you had to come back from, and the game before that you had the PSG loss, and then before that it was a Southampton comeback. So like all these games were very, very sketchy, and Ole has somehow held on. And I talked about this with somebody on Twitter, and I was like, Ole is going to scrape by. Ole is going to scrape by for some reason. He just always does. He's done it for the last year and a half, 2 years, however long it's been. But a loss in the Manchester derby with a tough schedule coming up, being sent down to Europa League midweek. Not that I think that this will be the turning point, because I don't think Woodward and the Glazers care enough about results at this point. It could be, I'm not going to be upset if we win. Obviously, we move into third place, and that's a good place to be 11 weeks, a third into the season. Not that I think we might even finish there. I mean, a lot has to happen. But if Ole is somehow stunned and completely swept off of his feet by this Manchester City team, and Pep puts on a masterclass tactically, then I think you have to. I mean, of course, questions have already been asked, but then I think he needs to get even more scrutiny, not just from the media, but from the board and the higher ups. Rashford always performs in a derby. Pogba always performs in a derby. So it's one of those games that you're always like, okay, it's going to be tight no matter what. There's really no one that's going to, go crazy. But with the way that we played against West Ham, we had to come back in the game that we played against Leipzig. I have no hope for it. And I'm going to be watching in hope that, I don't know, that it's just a game where I can say, okay, Ole is definitely not the answer, and I just want to move on from this era because I'm done. I'm done with it.
But this is what happens though if you win on Saturday, that era is going to continue.
Right, and I'm going to be back here next Wednesday being like, Ole in. Like, it's just so annoying,
Exactly, and that's the part that I think that most United fans, sometimes they get too caught in. Like, they don't see the body of work. Oh, but we beat our rival. That's what we want. We beat Liverpool. That's what we want. But to make it to the Europa in a group that you knew that the top team you had to really worry about was PSG, that still has to be taken into consideration. And the last couple of seasons, it has not been great in that tournament for you guys. And that is not United freaking standard. That's not United standard.
It hasn't been great since 2013. And the last time that we actually had a decent season was when City scored 100 points. We came in second place with Mourinho, and we won the Europa League. That's it. That's the only.
I was about to ask, did you guys win the Europa League?
Yeah, we won with. Yeah, we won with. Yeah,
you guys beat Sevilla, right?
Yeah. No, we lost.
That could be in the final every year.
we lost against Sevilla, and then
Marseille. Was it Marseille?
I can't remember who was the final that year.
Let me search it up for you guys.
But then I think before
it was 2017. Nice.
Yeah, the only other trophy.
Ajax.
Was Ajax. Okay, and the only other trophy before that, I think. We might have gotten we got to the final of the cup against Arsenal last year, the FA Cup, and then we won the FA Cup against Crystal Palace in like 2015. That's all I've had. That's all I've had as a Manchester United fan, other than Robin van Persie scoring worldies in his 20th, in our 20th title winning season. That's it. And it's been mediocrity and 50-50 records, and just it's not okay. If Sir Alex could, if I could take 10 years off of Sir Alex's life to bring him back and put him on the set. If I could put it,
were you born in 1999?
I was born in 2000. So, when Ole scored the winner in 1999, I wasn't born yet to win the treble. Yeah.
Paul.
Yes.
Talk to me. How you feel on Saturday?
Y'all gonna lose.
We got 2 derbies, man, on Saturday, man. Oh.
That's fun. Oof.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm worried this might be. I don't say snooze fest.
Madrid has won the last 2 though, so I think
they won the last 2. But I don't think that Madrid is in fantastic. They're not in fantastic form, although they did play well. This past game. I really don't know what to expect. Honestly, I want to get your thoughts on it, Manny.
Listen, it all depends how the players wake up. That's just my thoughts. Sorry,
Yeah.
French and me talking negative about the other. Listen, if we get the best Benzema version, Ramos version, what type of midfield will we have? Or is it going to be 80+ minutes of the same 3 guys, trying to defend or trying to create play? Well, what
I think
is
Valverde is back now, or he's training again.
now if Valverde comes in, that'll be a huge help because that midfield hasn't had a player of this caliber in quite some time. Unfortunately, he was part of that Corona crap that happened in Uruguay, which everybody came out positive after the qualifiers, right? But listen, if you know what you're going to get from Diego Simeone's side, you're going to get a team that's going to defend well, but that they're going to want to create space. And they've seen this season how Madrid has been beaten. Let Madrid possess. Let them move the ball sideline to sideline, side to side. Once they get into the box, obviously the creativity dies. Vinicius can't use his speed. Rodrigo can't use his speed, obviously, when they're so boxed in. You know, if you let Joao Felix off the hook, I mean, I can really see Ramos picking up a card early. That might affect the game going forward. Real Madrid just has to play smart here. Why not let Atleti possess? Let them come to them. And then, you know what? Who knows? Maybe you beat them on the counter with Vinicius, and maybe Benzema gets a one-on-one opportunity because, listen, no Hazard. And I don't see another guy being able to beat players off the dribble. That's not Rodrigo, but Rodrigo needs space. But Real Madrid don't do well in space because we've seen so many counterattacks by them on 3-on-2s, 1-on-3s, and all of a sudden Vinicius gives the ball wrong. Benzema's not on the same line as whoever's on the right wing, whether it's Asensio. It's just those things that a goal is going to happen on one side, and then it depends on who. If Real Madrid concedes, Real Madrid's going to go for it without a question because right now they've played one more game than them, and if you fall behind Atletico, it might be tough to catch up. And if Atletico concedes, I can see where Atletico says, you know what, screw it, let's also start pushing a little bit. And then you're going to get, I think, the most entertaining derby, which I think is, we've seen in the last decade when it comes to Diego Simeone and whatever Madrid manager has been there. When Atletico have been down, man, the games have been absolutely amazing to watch because Atletico, all of a sudden, their defensive mentality just goes away. And it's like, let's go for it. Madrid is the same thing, but they don't have the same firepower anymore. You know what I'm saying? When they beat winning against Atletico, Gareth Bale, Ronaldo, and Benzema, they were going to be the three at the top, and you knew that the counterattacks would be fluently. Now they don't have that. So it depends who scores first. But listen, I would let Atletico possess it. I would let them think they know what they're doing, and then you just try to hit them on the counter first. And if you score first, great.
I don't know if I agree with that, just solely because of the last game that these two teams played, or the last game that these teams, So Salzburg went at it against Atletico and actually put on a pretty good performance. I know Atletico went on and won the game and qualified for the knockout stages, but Salzburg gave them a fight in the first half, and we're really sticking it to them, and Daka on the counter was strong, and there were these players that for Salzburg that were going at this Atletico defense, and it was very, 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 very shaky. And I think if Real Madrid can do that, if they play the Rodrigo, Vinicius, Benzema up front like they did, I think that would work, and I think that they should try and just go at this Atletico defense, which historically has been so strong, and the Simeone ball has been so strong. But I think that they should try and mimic almost what Salzburg did because it really did punish Atletico, other than in the goal scoring category. That's it.
Really quick before we wrap up, I do want to mention, although it's not totally into transfer talk yet, one thing to look at because a couple Bayern and then a couple other Premier League teams are looking at is Dominic Szoboszlai from Salzburg has up until I think it's either Monday or Tuesday, one of those two things. There's some clause in the contract where he has up until, I'll have to look it up and find it, and I'll have a harder determination on that. But there's something in his contract where there's a certain amount of time period before Salzburg would either A, sell him off to Leipzig, and if they have interest, obviously sister club, they're not together, but we've seen multiple Salzburg players, they just go to Leipzig. Or those clubs have to have a bid in by a certain amount of time. So that could be decided by the time we get back next week, which would be huge for some of these clubs. I believe Arsenal, Liverpool, a couple other teams, Bayern, and a couple other teams are really interested in him. So it's something to look out for throughout the weekend and then into next week before we get on.
U.S. international Brendan Aronson is on his way to Salzburg, and that, him, Szoboszlai leaving makes room for Brendan Aronson, who will eventually be in this Red Bull product. He'll be stuck in the Red Bull trap for years to come. I'm a little upset going there, but yeah, that is big news. And for Shovelossi to leave and go to a big club, that could be big because he is a baller. I think that's a midfielder you want on one of these teams, whether it be to come off the bench or to actually play. I think it would be pretty solid, and it would cool to see It'd be cool to see Brendan Aronson play a little bit in Austria.
There is also one more player. Sorry, really quick. Kareem Adebayi or Edem something. He's a German striker that's like kind of sitting on their bench ish, but he's one to look at in case you're interested in some young talent. Just to add that.
We should do a show on talent that we think in transfers when it gets to that time. January is coming up, so that'll be a lot of fun too. With that, I think that's about everything. We went a little long here, but there was definitely a lot of conversation, a lot of topics, a lot of insight there. We'll be back at it again next Wednesday at 9:30. I'm not exactly sure what's going to be on the docket then, but you listen. There's football.
We'll have some matchups though, right?
What's up?
That we'll have some matchups for
to talk about for the round of 16. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we'll preview some Champions League knockout stages. Right, for sure, definitely. So we're going
to talk about Boca's win over the weekend for Martin to be happy.
No, if it's Wednesday at 9:30, it's going to be right after Boca's first leg of the quarterfinals of the Copa Libertadores against Racing. So that's going to be an interesting match.
I forgot Boca Racing. Ooh, Remember when Racing used to be a club that people feared? Now,
and by the way, next week is the second leg of the quarterfinals for the other three quarterfinals. Gremio Santos, River Nacional, and then also which one is the Palmeiras against Libertad. So that should be a good slate. And by the way, my predictions: it's Manchester City 2, Manchester United 1, and Atletico Madrid 1, Real Madrid 1. Those are my predictions for the derbies. But you guys did a great job. Analyzing that. So I just let you.
I'll take no. He's right. I mean, it'll be 2-1 or something like that. We're not going to win this game.
By the way, listen. For all you Tottenham fans, you're first right now, but you're about to go straight like this, just like you normally do.
Shout out to Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg. Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg. He's a former Bayern youth talent that Bayern essentially picked between him and Kimmich. They picked Kimmich, and now he's playing pretty well for Spurs.
He is playing very well for Spurs, actually. He's probably their best player on the season, other than Harry Kane and Son. But in the midfield, it's him and Ndombele are really running things in Tottenham.
By the way, great news for Dolphins fans. If you're watching, the Rams are up 24-3, 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter over the Patriots. Great news for Dolphins fans. Not only because the Dolphins are facing the Patriots next week, but it's one less worry for playoff purposes. So, yeah,
gotta make that wild card, baby.
Gotta win the division. I don't think the division is out of play yet, especially if the Steelers beat the Bills.
Okay, but I don't think the Steelers will beat the Bills.
Yeah, that's a problem for 3 yards per carry. So we let them.
On Sundays, pre in-game and post-game. Sunday.
Yes, do that. Kai's there. Manny's always there. Producing.
I'm always there.
Manny's always there.
Always.
Exactly. I got no.
And then, Paul, we have a Hurricanes North Carolina game, big matchup, right?
Yes. So we're on the pregame at 3:00 tomorrow, as well as postgame right after too.
Saturday.
I keep thinking Friday. I don't know why.
Bro,
I think
it's that PSG mentality, bro.
Sorry.
By the way, quickly before we log off, credit to PSG for what they did on Tuesday. Listen, the soccer verbal language has been there. It's something that unfortunately has not been, quite accepted per se, right? But listen, it's about time that even the refs, man, listen, it is that right there shouldn't be any more tolerated. That right there shouldn't be accepted. And I'm damn proud that those guys right there were with the other club. I forgot the name of the other club, but
Istanbul.
Yeah, Istanbul won. Now listen, I mean, it's quite clear that there's no more room for that.
Right.
Absolutely not.
And I want to say something too. When a lot of this stuff was going on over the summer during the quarantine process and the Black Lives Matter movement was really escalated here in the United States, there was a saying that was, don't just be not racist, you need to be anti-racist. And I think that the players absolutely showed that, did not tolerate. I mean, Istanbul, I'm not playing with the fourth referee on the field. I'm not going to be there. I'm not tolerating this. And I think that was something really, really positive. And then for them to go on and continue on and play again without him, take a stand, PSG, coming in solidarity. It was obviously good to see the response. You hate to see the cause, but yeah, big ups to them and big ups to especially Demba Ba for getting in the face of the referee and all that kind of stuff too. So it's just sad to see. And we saw it even in England too with the Millwall supporters against Derby. And then you had QPR who went up and, QPR and the same thing happened. They ended up scoring a goal and 2 QPR players went in front of the Millwall supporters section, took a knee and put their fist up right in front of them. So, I mean, these reactions to these things, I mean, it's good to see that, but it has to stop, man. It just has to stop.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. Wednesday, 9:30, we'll be talking more Champions League round of 16 stuff. The MLS final will be done. Inter Miami might lose a player, and nobody
because they don't have a player director.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I don't know what's going to happen, but there will be news to talk about. And with that, I think that's about everything, right, guys?
Yeah.
All right. So Wednesday, 9:30. We'll see you soon. Check out the Twitters. Everybody.